dangerous criminal aliens into our communities. Ron DeSantis, great job. Great. Really good. Thank you. So slow. It's common sense. It's common sense. Sanctuary cities are an open attack.
Oh, there we go.
American lives in pursuit of a callous political agenda. That's all.
Waiting for Tank to come on.
No one who supports sanctuary cities should be allowed to run for president of the United States. Republicans believe welfare, schools, hospitals, and public resources should be protected for all Americans. And yes, we are doing things that few others have even tried to do. We are making progress like nobody would believe. When you see some of the things that you're going to be hearing about over the next few months, we believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding citizens, not for criminal aliens. We will always support and protect the heroes of ICE, Border Patrol, and law enforcement generally throughout our country. And in the ultimate act of moral cowardice, not one Democrat candidate for president, not a single one, has stood up to defend the incredible men and women of ICE and Border Patrol. The job they do is incredible. It's so odds with the bad laws. They don't have the character, the virtue, the spine to do it. We have to thank them, and we have to thank, law enforcement. What a job they do. It's time to pass Kate's Law, end sanctuary cities, end catch and release, deport vicious gang members, which we're doing, stop human trafficking, stop illegal immigration, and establish a modern immigration system based on skills, contributions, and based on merit. We want people to come into our country based on merit.
Hey, Tank, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. What are you kicking there? Yeah.
Well, that's Trump, his re-election launch.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I'm for re-electing Trump.
Yeah, I think what he said. I think this is where he had 75,000 people wanting to come to a stadium that had 17,000 seats.
Yeah, and Joe Biden had 85 people at his, I saw, so that's great.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I didn't know it would be so high.
I am very impressed. Well, mainly with their events, they pay people to come, so it's a good way to make extra money.
Yeah. So he basically paid 85 people to come. All right.
Wow.
That's why it's so funny when they put out these polls and say that, Beto, Biden, all of them will beat Trump with no problem, right? And they can't get anyone to go. I think Hillary's last, when she was on campaign, the last time she showed up at a high school gym and there was 200 people. That was it was like 6 months before the election actually went on. She stopped going out in public, right? Because she couldn't get any crowds.
Yeah, so that's kind of probably part of it, I would think.
Yeah,
it's like a clone or something, right?
Yeah, well, what's the artwork behind you?
This is like.
It's a dog. I got it.
Yeah, it's from a series I did on David and Goliath, right? There's a little dog down here.
Oh, I get
it. I just need things in the background because I was doing the show and it was like I was in a big cavern, so the girls told me to find ways to tighten things up. So.
Yeah, that's good. I try not to have like towels on the rail over there, because it's a good place to dry it because this is a very sunny room, right? And so leave it in the bathroom hung up, it doesn't dry. So put them out here on the rail, and like 2-3 hours, they're perfectly dry again. But I try to make sure, at least the background is, orderly, put it that way.
Orderly background, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I don't do this much. It's a little like I haven't got used to like seeing myself like that. I'm like, wow, like I need to get in shape. Like I feel all fat headed, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. My face is feeling a little puffy right now because I know I stopped the climb up the mountain. I started again, but the summer came back here with a vengeance, and it just gets so hot. This last really the last 2 weeks, I basically run right into the air conditioned room after I'm done with this, and my computer, everything. I reworked everything so I could work in there during the day because otherwise. I just so wiped out. I literally can't, even think because of the heat. But it's okay. I mean, at this point in time, when we do these broadcasts, it's not bad. I've got a fan blowing, and it's okay. But the humidity is pretty high.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about updates, and then I'll tell you what I covered about the GCR and the Restored Republic on the front lines broadcast.
Okay. Oh, update. Well, I have not gotten back from Kim yet, other than that, that there was no progress made with the Chinese this past weekend. And then I saw that, I will clarify this. I'm sorry. There's all these rumors about this woman. I just was checking her name. This is in the GCR crowd. They said this woman, let's see, her name is, shoot. There was supposed to be some new woman who's the new head of the Treasury. I just had her name. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know that's one of the things.
Judy Shelton.
Mnuchin is gone, right? Is he actually ousted finally?
Well, I asked him about Judy Shelton because that's the rumor in the GCR community that Judy Shelton is the new Treasury, and Kim said no, unless Mnuchin got fired in the last 40 minutes. Which means she was just dealing with Mnuchin and no progress with China. And then I asked her about something Thomas had said about, which I hadn't heard phrased this way. I just want to make sure I understood it. He said that it wasn't Kim that was deciding when funds would be released. And so I just wanted to clarify about that. And because I kind of figured that just meant because of the usual games they're playing. And she clarified. And, if it was up to her, this would have been done months ago because she's been working on this for a long time. And then it's all about how quickly we make it through these final obstacles. And then we talked about the other big rumor in the GCR world is that the reason why the GCR didn't happen this weekend, now this is going to blow your mind, but because the Chinese elders have a clouded ownership of the historical assets. Right? Clouded.
Really?
Yeah,
Clouded.
and by clouded, I'm pretty sure what they mean by clouded is
they don't own it.
Yeah, they don't own it, right? They have never owned it. They've never held a title for it. They were trustees. They made up about 42. I think Kim told me 42 of the trustees of 600 in total. There were 600 trustees in total, and they made up 42 of them. And they were never anything else. They don't have any title or access now. So basically what they are is people who didn't do their job, got fired, and now they're mad about it and trying to take over the company, but they can't. So that's the current state of the union.
Yeah. Well, we also have Patrick Shanahan is now out, and we have a new someone else has now been made the secretary, or what do they call the acting? Asper, Secretary Asper is now the one. Mark Asper, is it? Yeah, Mark Asper. So yeah, I kind of covered this and then the Restored Republic via the GCR broadcast. Just went over it, and the one thing that I saw out of that whole thing was that they were saying that, well, when we do release, we're going to give you an SKR, and then from this, we're going to allow you to have a little bit of money for your 3 to 6 months. You're going to tell us how much you need to last 3 to 6 months, and then, you know, we'll go ahead and then give you more tomorrow. And first, I'm saying, number one, if you had purchased something and then you trade it for something of higher value, whose money is it? It's yours. So
Of course.
why are they not giving you your money? Why are they, if they're going to exchange it for all this high amount, right? Why are they going to now hold it back? It's not theirs.
Okay. That's it. maybe we can all move on now. It's not their money. They can't do it because they don't have control of it. Just a thought.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was saying, if there is money that's given out to certain people, and you had mentioned this last week, something like there. You said, well, you know, they'll give you just enough to go to a party, you know, for the weekend or something like that.
They would do these dinar exchanges at Rockefeller Center, which, by the way, is where the SES operates out of. The whole secret faction of the CIA set up by, you know, George H.W. Bush. It runs out. Yeah, no, not that one. I'm sorry. What's the CIA? Like this, the shadow side of the CIA. Gosh, well, anyways, they think they're the real CIA. They think they're like the super secret, you know, branch of the CIA. They operate right there out of Rockefeller Center. Good job, guys, keeping that secret, right? Because obviously I know, and everybody knows because I know. So good job, really covert. But that runs out of there. And then at the top of the rock, which is like, you know, this big restaurant at the top of Rockefeller Center where you can see this beautiful city view, they would bring people in there. They'd get a hotel at that building, right? Which is probably like the empire of evil where they dwell, right? I'm sure there's like some satanic thing that they have built there. And, you know, they go up there and they exchange and party it up. Yeah. So, and that's what they're going to do here in Reno, right? Same thing.
Well, they give you a little bit of money and say, you know, just hang on, you can have your money in 3 to 6 months, right? So just to turn the crank, you know, they gotta do something, right? So I was wondering if, you know, that 30B that Kim put in the Treasury for I don't know how many hours before she took it back, that they quickly put that on a platform.
Yeah, probably
generate some funds to put into the hands of the people for the GCR. Just a thought, but anyway, whatever way they were doing to get some cash in the hands of these people so that they could claim that the GCR has moved forward. I don't know how that's going to satisfy all those generals, you know, that they have container loads of cash, right, just to pacify them. You know, but it's obviously it's not turning out why they were promising, right? Massive amounts of cash, right? You know, and they'll never give it to them, right? They will give them just enough to tide them over until tomorrow.
And you know what? And honestly, I'm torn about it because, you know, we had this whistleblower, right, who's amazing. We're gonna bring him on Friday. And he's actually a water purification specialist. And he was telling me some of the horrors of the water around the world because he's been all over the world, right? Working on all types of things. And he was saying the chemicals and the combination, like the first thing he said to me is, I'm like, you know, we're just trying to wake people up. And he said, Tank, it's the water. He said, it's the water. They've got everybody just completely satiated and just docile and, you know, limited. I mean, our bodies are mostly water, right?
Right.
I mean, so think about it. You take water that's already toxic, then everything around us is emitted in frequencies that are diminishing our body's ability to perform all the time. And a combination of these factors, of course, we're docile, right? Of course, we're less creative. We're less dynamic, right? And can you imagine, like, if we were just a lot. That's why people, we get mocked when we start talking about these things. They're like, that's ridiculous. That's a conspiracy theory. So I'm about to take any conspiracy about water and blow it to pieces on Friday, because this guy is amazing. So much so, we got his information. We had to set up a dead man's trigger for him immediately, because we had to get it out there and make sure that all the right people got that information, because it is smoking. I mean, down to the exact chemical compounds, the waste that they're gathering from smokestacks to put back into the water, to put into people. He explained, he's going to go into great detail about the steam that's created from this fluoride and how it permeates into your skin and you breathe it in. We are creating our own gas chamber when we take a shower. Yeah. And it's terrifying. And then you have someone like Alexandria Cortez, who just cannot stop running her stupid mouth. And she starts saying that what Trump has done is the equivalent to making concentration camps at the border. That's what he's done. I want to slap people when they say dumb things like this. She is like
well, of course, this is what Obama had set up.
That, right? Yes. And Trump took out the killing part of it.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a lot going on that we're not even being shown about what's going on at the border. I think they're building. I think they're completing 2 miles a day. They've ramped up, right? So now it's like a mill, right? So they're just churning it out 2 miles a day. So that's a massive undertaking, and if you think about it, to plan something like that and put it into place within 2 years is amazing in itself. Just the planning it would take to ramp up. And then I remember it was like 6 months ago. It said, well, he hasn't even spent the money we gave him for the wall. Right. Because as Trump said, well, I'm only going to pay when it's complete. Right? Duh.
Stop being a hater. Stop being such a hater all the time. Yeah. Anything, it doesn't matter what he says, they are just going to attack every single time.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. That without a doubt they're gonna. But so this stuff is going on behind the scenes. So they have they are now. This is an interesting piece. They are now going to remove all of the aliens, illegal aliens. I'm not going to say undocumented, migrants. They're going to remove the millions of migrants that are already in the U.S. and they're going to deport them. They started now. As fast as they come in, they're going to be putting them out. I don't know how what that's going to look like. It's now started. So there is stuff that's not going to make it to the mainstream news in any way. Trump doesn't want it to be out there, and the other side doesn't want to have it. It's like the behind the scenes actions that are taking place.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So we're gonna. So by the time the election does roll around, the millions of votes that they were counting on, that for the popular vote is not even going to materialize. Also,
I look at how much has changed in the past year and a half. I'm like, we're a year and a half away from another election. I'm like, I can't even imagine what's going to happen. By the time we get there, it's like, I don't even think this will be an issue. Like, it just can't be. At some point, things have got to change, right?
Yeah, and I think that
that's my thought on it.
I think that all the people that are stopping things from progressing are being moved aside. Shanahan. What happened with Shanahan? Why was he removed? Did he not want to move the funds from the trust? Was he like preventing it? Was he?
I don't know if that's true, and I really in this case I don't think that's the case. I mean maybe he wasn't able to because they were threatening his family. That's definitely possible. It's possible he could have been a traitor, but I just don't think so.
Well, he was in there for such a short period, right?
That's not the reports I've heard and got clarification from Kim on that.
You are getting a little choppy right now. So.
Right. So I think, but I mean, he will. It wouldn't surprise me. That's what happens. Okay. Right. Sorry. 1 second. Come back. All right. So what I think happened, my personal vibe on this, I have not confirmed this with Kim, but I think his family was being threatened, and they were threatening to expose some very violent things that had happened, and he didn't want to put his son through that, you know. So to protect his family, he wasn't sure what to do. So I don't think he could move, but I think he came clean about it and said, "Look, this is what they're doing to me. What do I do?" You know, and I think that's fair. I mean, honestly, I think that's fair for, you know, it's like, okay, well, we got to get you out there and put somebody in who can do the job. You know,
right.
So, you know,
that's why
so I think,
sudden, you know, he came in and he was there and he left. So I don't know, was it a month? He was there a month, and then now he's out.
I mean, it's been a month that I've been waiting, more than that, 5 weeks that I've been waiting for the Pentagon to actually do something.
Right. So now, you know, he's out and we get someone else in, and hopefully now he'd be able to go ahead and turn the crank and make things happen.
What are the qualifications? What do you need to be the Secretary of Defense? Because I am putting my application in right now. Any job that is being done by our government, I will put my, if it makes a difference, I will put it on the record right now. Any job they're doing, I can do it better. And literally, because they don't do anything.
I tell you what, you become the Secretary of Defense, I'll become the Secretary of the Treasury.
Oh my gosh. You know what would happen? Everything. Because we would just do stuff. It'd be amazing. We'd be like, hey, new ideas. Great. Yeah, we'll fund this. We're going to do. Hey, you know what? We're going to do it with all these organizations that are killing people and stop giving them federal grants. Boom. Like, imagine. It's magical. It's magical. That can happen.
Yep, just grant the money out. All of a sudden, the world is changing. I'm still amazed that we have 5.2% GNP in the first quarter. Although actually the second quarter is going to be coming to an end, right? In another couple of weeks. I wonder what we've done the second quarter. You know, we won't know for a little bit. We're cruising at such a rate right now. I mean, you know, if it's an 8-cylinder engine, we're cruising on 16 cylinders. You know, or even more. It's just amazing to see that much productivity coming out. And, you know, what's going to happen? You know, I think it has to do with the new money that came into the system. That's the only thing that makes any sense, because it moves out into this into the economy, and it just moves around.
Yeah.
And without new money, the GNP, gross national product, is really a reflection of an expansion of the economy. If there's no money, it doesn't expand. It just sits there, all right? And it actually starts to contract and die, right? So you have to have continual expansion. There's some ebb and flow back and forth, but if there's no extra money, you can't, inflate the economy. You can't get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it makes sense that if new money came in, it will result in the gross national product going up.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense. I mean, it's not just money. There has to be value increased, and there should be projects moving and things going on. So I'm looking for that, to be honest. I'm looking for actual progress, because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if people don't have money, the world is still enslaved. If the money is not in the hand of the actual project owners, and I don't care what government has it, they have proven time and time again, they will not use it right. They won't pay Kim back, but they'll pay the Rothschilds back. They're not going to do the right thing. The only way, still in my opinion, and I keep being proven right on this, the money needs to come in through the people. And it needs to come in through us directly. I mean, like literally us directly. Because if there's not people that can't be corrupted, who are advocates for the people who actually know what's going on, I mean, then it's going to be the same process over and over again. Like, okay, you're bringing money in, a bunch of guys show up and give you scary phone calls. We're going to kill your family. like if they called and told me they were going to do something like that, I'd say, with what? You don't, if I get the money, what are you going to do? And then I'd hang up. And then I might come back. And then I start punching them. I'd be like, guess what? Because I just can't stand that we spend all this time being afraid of nonsense. They don't have anything. If they wanted to kill us, they would just walk by us in a store. And, you know, they can't hurt us because we're doing what is the right thing. We are serving humanity, the planet, the world. How are you going to kill? How are you going to kill that? You can't kill that. If you killed me today, I'd be a martyr. I mean, like, it's useless. This whole thing, like, these strong men are so easily threatened. You know, I remember Jared Rand telling me, like, if you ever stood in the face of pure evil, you'd be terrified. I'm like, screw you, Jared Rand. Just because you were raised to be a bitch and you can't do anything doesn't mean I have to be that way. Like, I'm sorry that you're so afraid of life. Like, you know what? We deal with villains all the time. Every single day. We're looking. You know what I saw today? Oh, my gosh. I saw the video of this. I could not believe it was real. There was a baby, this little Indian girl baby, just thrown in a pile of dung. She'd been there. She was freezing cold and digging down the dirt, and they had video. I'm like, what? They just throw the babies out? The female babies. I guess in India they're doing that now, which I should have known, I guess. But I just, this has all got to stop. It's not a matter of, like, you know, different cultures having different values. It's a matter of all cultures being told the same lies. That's what it is. We're all being told lies. We've had our humanity taken from us. We've had our history taken from us. We've been drugged. We've been in our food, our water, our air. This is ridiculous. There's absolutely no excuse for the world that they have created. They do not deserve to be here.
And they have to continue to force feed it, right? Because we wouldn't accept it, you know, if it was like, hey, this is what we're going to do, you know, in a way that's upfront, right? They do it through movies and through the, fiction, and everyone think, well, that's not real, right? And they train us to think, oh, well, that's just not the reality. We wouldn't do that, right? No one would really think that people would want to do that. Right? And it's not people. It's this apparatus, this cabal behind the scenes with all this satanic, you know, focus of how they want the reality to roll out, which is a big fiction in itself, right? That, you know, they were taught that reality is generated, you know, basically around these rituals, and you have to do these things in order to get power, and that's a lie. Right? We all generate reality, and we can generate a positive reality. If you pick up that phone and that guy on the other side is where we say, we're going to kill you and your family, and you laugh at them in their face, what reality are you creating? You're creating where they are the ones that are frightened. Aren't they going to turn around and say, oh, this guy's not frightened? They're the ones that are going to receive the fear, right? They have no power other than what you give to them.
That's right. Man, I see these things and I'm just like, at some point, if we just recognize the collective consciousness of the people is what is holding the reality in place, I am going to live in a world, come hell or high water, where we are empowered, right? Where I can express myself, my ideas, the fullness of my being, where I can go and be exceptional, inspire other people, build whatever I want, live wherever I want, and do it fearlessly. That's the one I want all of us to create. You know, just take me out, put you in. You be that too, right? It's like, why wouldn't I want you to be like? Sometimes when I love amazing people, right? Like, I love when you talk about your ideas, right? Because I'm like, this guy is going to do amazing things, right? And I get to live there, like whatever. I get to be there too. And then I talk to other people. I'm like, this guy's going to do amazing things. This woman's going to do amazing things. I want to live there too. I don't get intimidated by other people that are exceptional. They do. And that's why they're so scared. See, their worst nightmare is us. And here's why. Exceptional people who aren't afraid to be exceptional. Matter of fact, that feel charged and responsible to be exceptional and are willing and not intimidated, but love to be around other exceptional people and want them to do amazing things. And We don't look at it like, oh, because you're so great now, it makes me less. When I see Dan do amazing things, I'm like, that's my people. That's when your success is my success. Like, that's the world we're creating. So down with the cabal. Oh my goodness. Forget about them. We just need to rise up. Don't even worry about being down with the cabal. We need to stop even talking about them. All we need to do is rise up. We need to rise up. That's what we need right now. Kim said this to me one time. She said, it's not about taking them down. It's about raising us up. That's
they're
my
going to do what they're going to do. They're going to keep doing their program, repeating their same things. And as long as people listen to them and go along with it, that's what's real. As soon as people stop, they have no power. They've lost. Right? They've already lost. Now they don't even have access to the money anymore, but they're still pretending, right? And they're projecting. And it's still amusing now that to see that Rothschilds have been selling off more assets. Hey, so we're selling off our identity system, our our KYC identity system out of Delarue. 42 million. Get it while it's hot.
Listen, nobody buy any financial instruments of any kind. Don't buy any bonds. Don't make any investments, because it's all about to come either crashing down or it's completely fraudulent to begin with. And then you're going to have your money tied up in long-term investments that are never going to pay off because they don't have any money. And they probably don't even have the right to sell them, actually.
That's kind of the point. Even though ones I had talked with you about, right? This is cash on pallets, right?
Right.
That's under a financial instrument, right? There is a document, that holds it all together as one big bundle of value, right? So when that was created, it was created for a purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose, was using that value. Why is it available? What happened? Is it, well, we got this sitting here. Let's see if we can get some money out of it.
It was there at all. These things get taken all the time. They're desperate. They're stealing everything. That's the sad part. We put our trust in things that are, it's the slave master's house, right? Like Willie Lynch, How to Make a Slave. Like he tells them, he's like, divide them against each other by their race, by their eye color, their hair color, their size, their shape, the men from the women, the children from the parents, right? Divide them by their age, their intelligence, and then make it so the only
gender repeatedly again. So you have 52 genders or whatever.
Right. And just do that until the only people they trust is you. So then when you go to tell somebody something, you say, look, this is what's going on. They're like, that's ridiculous. It'd be all over the news. Right. It'd be all over the news. Right. So the five little things the news covers, you think that's all that's going on in the whole world? It's like, imagine how they take in our world where we are connected to every other being in the galaxy. Then they limit that. And then it's just us here on this planet. Then they limit that. And then it's just you and your religion. Then they limit that. It's just you and your, this one little bubble. They've just taken all this expansive, incredible energy and brought it down into, and just let it cut off until we think we're this. We think we're this big. They take everything amazing and beautiful about humanity and they turn it into dung. They make it literally. They took this baby girl and just threw her in a pile of dung. And I mean, it's just like, how? Sorry, I know that's a touchy subject.
Even the one that's taking the video of it or photo of it, how are they not doing something? How are they behind the?
Yeah.
Why would you just keep filming? Why don't you just stop in the middle of it and just pick it up and take care of it? I mean, the natural instinct. Take care of it. No, not to be behind the camera and just keep videoing it. It's amazing that they've trained people not to act to save us.
Yeah, I agree. That has become, And that is evidence of, oh, there's overpopulation, right? There's so much, people are starving because there's not enough food. This is such bullshit. There's so much food. We could plant domes in the middle of the Sahara Desert and make food. Look, the ground is so amazing. You could take a seed, put it in the dirt, and it'll bring you back a tree. What are you talking about?
We could literally take those deserts and turn them into oases, the whole everything by just converting water, removing the salt and sending that water in. I mean, Gaddafi was going to do it in Libya. He was building the facility. He built it. It was almost complete when they took him out. Right.
So
his plan was to be the breadbasket and also to have all this gold and create a gold currency for Africa. Right. And then have Africa feed Europe. Of course, they couldn't have that. Couldn't have food readily available.
Africa used to be the agricultural capital, of the world, right? Like it has the most lush, soil in the entire world. The Rothschilds salted the plains. How are these people they're still attacking us? Like, it's unimaginable to me. Like, I don't know. Like I was telling Kim, I'm like, I don't know how.
Well, they're the ones that set up the system, right? Including the United Nations and the World Bank and IMF and UNICEF, and all of it is under them. So why are we going along with these creations that they created? When Trump pulls out of the United Nations, it'll be the biggest thing ever. It's like, why have it? Listen, I'm not saying that there's not good people in the United Nations. That's not the point. They're good people, have good intentions. They go to the United Nations and they play along because they want to do the good things, right? Yep. And they think that's the way to make it happen. But they don't know what's behind the curtain.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Well, that's why we've got to make our own United Nations. But I don't know what are we going to call it. We'll call it the League of Nations. No, that's been used.
Yeah, I think we should come up with something a little more fun and upbeat. We'll figure it out. Actually, I mean, there's a bunch of them too. That's the problem is they've made any organization. They've put their stench on it, so it's ruined it all.
What's the difference though between countries and nations? We're not the United Countries of Earth.
Yeah, I think that works.
Why nations? I never even thought about that. No, the United Nations. What's the difference between nation and country?
I don't know. I gotta look it up. I bet you it's one of those like little catch-all things, like nations are made up of slaves, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, national nation. So So it seems like it's something that is created after country, because again, if you're sovereign to a country, it seems like it'll be a little different than citizen of a nation.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, because you're slave to a nation or sovereign. I mean, you're your own sovereign entity, right? So a country made up of sovereign beings.
Yeah, I like to go back to Rome because we're really dealing with Rome here. How the Roman Empire became the Catholic Church, but the system of Rome, they're citizens of Rome, were the ones under the banner of Rome, which spanned multiple territories, right? So you could be a citizen of Rome, but not be in Rome. So this is the concept that we're dealing with that they put into place. So it's under their society, their civilization, their civil society is what we're all literally part of, and that's what it's represented, I guess, under the United Nations. And now we have these little sub nations and their citizenry that are all under one United Nations, which is all under Rome, under the Roman Catholic Church.
Right.
All passports under the church.
I heard that, actually, the guys down in Australia, the actual original tribes, I guess the Aborigines or some connection thereof, who also like have some connection to the original Camelot. They told me that like the real original birth certificates, they have them, like they can get those, like get us the original birth certificates, and I think they said passports too. But and I think that would have broken us out of the church. But I mean, at this point, all those things, it doesn't even matter anymore because those are now just functional bodies that are giving out, ID at this point. Because the Catholic Church has no power, neither do the United Nations. They're not doing anything. They don't have any money. What can they do except for?
I mentioned this a couple of times that I think as a concept that we can look at what the social contract is. It's the unwritten contract with everyone. So the things that we take as our reality is really what we should focus on. Like if we're not what their legalese and tricks of capital letters or lowercase or italicized or underlined or whatever it is, whatever that trickery is, makes no difference. It's the social contract. What we all believe should be what the legality is. So we should basically take all the rest of that garbage, bundle it up into and throw it over on the side and say, now the new social contract is what we believe. And now we just have to now rewrite it. Right. Yeah. And say, if capitalized entities are a thing, okay, at least we write it but everyone has to know it. Right. And it has to be very clear and no subterfuge, no, well, oh, you said this over here. You thought you were doing that, but no, you said this.
Everything's a scam. Everything's like it's like they're that the old Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons. The villain would tie him to the railroad tracks. Like no, like this is how they are. Their ideas are so retarded to me. It's like, why did we ever fall for this? Are you kidding? Like you used all capital letters and we all got screwed over for the past 100 years? That's crazy, right? It's like, come on, like enough. All your BS contracts, they have absolutely no power. The only power they've ever had is that we were, deceived into entertaining and supporting that as if it's real. Like, well, it's all caps now. Nothing I can do. Now we're screwed, guys. It's like, wait a minute. Time out. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like we have to stop giving all of these things power because you could never unravel them, right? If you were trying to go back to people, like, oh no, wait, according to this statute, and go, you know what? We drop all of it. Like right now, you know what I realized today? I was watching a court case where they were trying, and it talked about how it is the parental right. Right? It's been proven several times in courts in different cases that according to the 14th Amendment, that is the parent's right for the care, custody, and education of their child, or care, custody, and something else. But care, custody, and control of their child, right? That is it is defined as an unalienable right. Now, it's not defined that way in the verbiage of the Constitution, but several Supreme Court justices have agreed to this, right? That's what it is. So then Child Protective Services, not only are they notorious, they don't believe they're bound by the Constitution. Then when they go in, they're actually on trial because they create lies to go in and take people's kids, right? So they're going through this and they keep repeating over and over again. It's like, wait a minute, it's the parent's right. You can't just go in and take the child.
Hey, Tank, your camera has shifted. We're seeing the under part of a shelf in the upper corner.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my secret lair. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the whole.
It was the cabal. They were shifting you around, and
it's always the cabal.
It's always the cabal. They had a little gnome go in there. Oh, that's not any good.
No,
now we see your keyboard.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shut my camera off. Okay. Unicorn.
Oh, you defeated them.
Yeah. Take that, you bastards. So, anyways, that's I watched that case go down. And I'm just like, okay, this is obviously unconstitutional. Why isn't anyone putting these things together in a intelligent civil suit against them.
Who's the anybody? There are people like you and me and there are a lot of people just like us that are out there that put this together and say that's ridiculous, but it's the mainstream media that everyone turns to. See, why isn't it not there? The mainstream media should be talking about it.
No, I agree, and that's where I do struggle with this because they're trying to get us to merge into a world war, right? And right here at home, we're in the midst of a civil war, and it's basically it's like they have tanks and rockets and stuff, and we're fighting with pitchforks and intelligence, right? And if there was even a remotely fair fight right now, there wouldn't even be a fight. I mean, I've thought about this. Like, we really do at some point have to take action. To be at the water filtration center, and I'm going to talk to this guy about it on Friday, and find out how do you get in to stop that? Because how is it possible or allowed? I mean, and he has several patents that he's presented to governments around the world that would completely eradicate this problem. So if there was any desire to actually give people fresh water and all the lies they tell us, this guy he's already given them exactly how to do it. And they completely they make water a trend. We need to give people fresh water. How about you take the patent that guy just gave you a minute ago and use it? Try that out,
It's like they stop people from catching rainwater in the U.S., right? You can't capture rainwater. It's they'll claim that you're impacting groundwater and so on and so on. So listen, just because the water went into the ground and went through some utility and came back to the house, it's the same amount of water. It's just one is not processed. One is natural coming from the sky, and one is basically being processed. Now, set aside chemtrails and carrying stuff into the water. You can do some filtering and use the rainwater on every house, right? And even store up water for your for months on end. In most places in the world, except of course if you live in the desert, you can still capture the rain and function off of that what you need even for months on end. And it is much better. I notice that my water comes from the sky. I catch it, I filter it, and I put it out, through the house. So, I notice when I take a shower in that water, that it's different than what I was getting when I was in America. It's much different.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I think it's not even. This stuff isn't even up for question. There's lots of ways to diffuse the fluoride in the water, but we shouldn't even have to. This should be done for us by the time it gets. We pay a water bill every month. I mean, how ridiculous is that? It comes from the sky. I can just take it, but I got to pay for it too. I'm thinking about it now, like how to. I mean, even in New York City, they just have giant, vats sitting on top of the roof. All they do is collect rainwater, and then they just send it down to you. So it's like, why are these things okay? And they're adding. In New York's water is filled with toxins. They're putting all types of stuff in it, right? They're treating it first. And this guy was talking about it. The water in New York, the Bronx. Alexandria Cortez. Next time you actually want to do something, instead of fight about things that don't matter, how about you take care of the water up in the Bronx that's worse than it is up in Flint, Michigan? And that is absolutely fact. Actually, we might bring that out on Friday too. Then we're going to take that up to the Bronx. I'm going to take that up to the BX, and I'm going to talk to Alexandria Cortez and her group. And I'm just going to stand outside and be like, here's an actual issue that you might be able to help with that deals with your people in the place where you're from, that you just lost 25,000 jobs. Useless. Drives me crazy. So, but I'm in great mood, man. We're just changing it. We're changing it.
Yeah, it is. It's happening, and we're doing. It's funny. I'm looking at the number of views. Has also that we're getting has dropped. We're looking at where we were averaging 2,000, 2,500 views over a week's period. Now where it's like 500 views, 600 views.
Yeah.
And I think we're bringing more better content, more things. So it's literally that they are dialing it back so much. And I know that, it's as I said, the channel's being demonetized. Means doesn't matter what gets put up. No bad words, no nothing. It's just demonetized. So this is just something that they've sped up on removing offending channels that they don't like. They started this about a month ago, and so many are being affected. Like say SGT report. He's very much monitors his numbers and sees what he's doing. He said he helped set up another channel, the Black Conservative YouTube channel. And that guy will get like 100,000, 150,000 views, 200,000 views, right? And he's only been doing this for maybe a year compared to SGT report, right? And so you can tell, like SGT report is getting like now 25,000 views or 40,000 views. Same thing with like Dave Janda. That they're purposely doing this, but we still are making our videos and putting out the content. And all they can do is try to suppress it, down to just the people that literally reach out to find us. I say it's important. One of the things I wanted to do on the website, www.g1wga.love site, was to have a place where the videos could be placed there, so that we could, say, hey, let's not lose track of these important videos. Because otherwise, this stuff. But if you were alerted through another system, not relying on YouTube's system to notify you or recommend you, have it another site. I think it's becoming more important to try and get that humming along better. So I'm going to make some efforts to do that. I'm going to look. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring some people in to help organize, those videos and get them up. I can only get so much done myself. I run out of bandwidth.
I know.
My own bandwidth, not internet bandwidth.
Well, I've had people setting up secret YouTube channels for about a year, gathering all types of followers from every other place. So we have about 300 different YouTube channels set up, and every single one of them is designed so that we're going to set we're going to give horrible descriptions, which have nothing to do with what's on it. The first 3 minutes will be total fluff, and it'll be something that's different. And then it'll be the actual content that we're going to put out, so they can do whatever they want, because we're going to come at them from every single direction. And I'm going to get my goal is to get 10,000 of those on YouTube. And if I have to, I'll build all those up, and we'll crash their system, because if they're going to try to keep these things suppressed, they can't be anymore. Like, we have to get these messages out. They have to be put out. These things are essential to the survival of humanity. And if we don't start to do this, right, and people don't start to become more innovative in their approach to doing what is perfectly legal, that's perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with that. But we will get the truth out. Matter of fact, what they're doing is illegal. What they're doing is illegal. So, we'll work that out.
Yeah.
And by the way, they can feel free to go ahead. You can go ahead and shut my channel down right now if you want. YouTube. It doesn't matter, because I've got already well over 300 other channels set up, and we'll keep coming.
Hey, I just I was just sending Tui the link, but I noticed that on the www.g1wga.love Telegram group, Scott Fawn is asking a question. Basically for you, he says, if I can be a translation for some of the Cambodian people that I've introduced to Go Camelot to submit their project, but they can't speak English.
Yeah, man, of course. That'd be great. Tell them, hit me up at, just hit it. I'm Tank 96 on Telegram.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and I'll forward you this message he sent me. I'll just forward it to you, and then you can reply to him from there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, you got it now.
Cool.
The advantage of Telegram. Yeah.
Dude, I've got Telegram everywhere now. I was like trying to just, set out a niche and actually here it is. I got you. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so his name is right there. So you could click on it and then make a reply directly to him. Right, so it's very powerful. One of the other things I noticed in Telegram, so I have you have the general chats, right, which is a group chat or direct individual to individual chat. They also have a broadcast channel, and so I've got one as a broadcast channel for WWG, WWG1 WGA.love broadcast, and I have not been using it. But what I'm going to start doing is using that just as to get out the information I'm presenting on the actual broadcast, so it's always there. No one can chat about it, right? It just sits there. It's like a broadcast outwards only. But then people can then take it from there and go into the chat group that's for everyone and chat back and forth about any of those items. So it's a good way to tie them together, is the broadcast channel out and then the community chat. And then
I just set that up. I just set up I did that too for Speak Project. But I didn't know if that was a way we could broadcast,
Yeah.
I just don't. Didn't you say something about that we could broadcast this way too? Like we could broadcast like videos?
You can actually put a video up there and broadcast it. It's true. Yes.
That's cool.
But it's not live, right? It's an upload. So that's, actually just thinking about it, that actually might be a good alternative to YouTube. Interesting.
Yeah. You put it out there and you just tell people to subscribe to your network, right?
Yeah.
I have about 4,000 people on my head alone.
And we get notifications. So actually, it's an interesting idea. Just using that as an alternative for YouTube to get people involved. Yeah, I'll look more into that. See what we can get out of that. So anyway, I don't know if Tui is going to be joining us, but anyway, we did get a link out there, Tui. If you want to join, you can jump in. Well, is there anything else we should cover?
Nothing pressing on my mind at the moment. There's so much going on. I think it's really exciting. I'm just trying to stay focused on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking more into this. Tesla's plan. What was Tesla's actual plan? Not what we've been presented. The crazy guy in the last years, died penniless and so on. I don't buy that one. I think there was actually something that he was planning on doing, and let's see if we can figure out more about how that plays into Donald Trump and what's actually happening with the Patriots. That's what I'm going to be doing a little digging today on. But besides that, yeah, I guess we're good for the day. A lot happening, and we will cover this again tomorrow. So again, please subscribe, even though they're blocking us, shadow banning us. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and give thumbs up. We do what we can. Share the link. That's what's important.
Cool. All right, man. Nothing but good news. Appreciate you, Dan. Talk to you later, dude.
Appreciate you too. Bye.